Hi guys, I figured I would come on here today and talk about my trip to Pennsylvania. So on August the 1st, I flew to Portland, picked up my sister and my nephew, and flew back to Phoenix. On this that was a Saturday. On the next on the next Tuesday, my sister, my nephew, and my mom drove out to Pennsylvania. Like, started the road trip to Pennsylvania. So we live in Arizona, and I think they got in on Friday night. I think Dad and I August August the 8th, Dad and I flew out to Pennsylvania, and that's where my Pennsylvania journey starts. So basically, our entire family went back from my brother's ordination as a pastor, including my grandparents, my and my mom's brother and sister. When we landed in, when my dad and I landed in Pittsburgh, I was I was glad to get there, and I did not recognize most of the airport because I think usually when I go back east, I always flew into Cleveland because our target would always be Ohio instead of Pennsylvania, but my brother moved a little bit, so um, so I didn't recognize the Pittsburgh airport all that much, but I was glad to see the T Rex skeleton statue that they have is still there, and I love that. I think it's really cool. When you go down the escalators toward the baggage claim, you get to go by it, and it's fascinating. It's my favorite thing about the Pittsburgh airport. Also, in the Pittsburgh airport, you have to take the railway to the baggage claim. I think you take the escalators down to the railway and then you take the railway to the baggage claim. When But it was really fun. I love standing up on trains, no matter if it's like an airport rail or like the Utah light rail or the London Underground. I love standing up on them, and it's really I love the sway and the bounce and the I just love it. It's great. It's an interesting experience. Anyway, on it was a 2.5 hour drive to my brother's house, and we had to stop and get um, stuff for the baby at Walmart, and that took us out of our way a little bit. And we also had to stop at a Love's and get gas put in the truck. So that was lovely. I think, yeah, when we got to my brother's house, um, the rest of the family had left and gone to their hotel, and my parents and I, my two sisters, and my nephew all stayed at my brother and sister in law's house, which is quite interesting. Um, Becca and I, my middle sister and I were both supposed to sleep upstairs in the library, which was the biggest room in the house, but it was very, very cold up there, and I kind of wasn't interested, so I stayed downstairs with my sister and the bubby. So then the next morning was Sunday, and so in the morning we had my brother's ordination service. which I've never been to one of those before, and I don't know if they all sound like a bunch of like cult chanting and stuff, but it was interesting to say the least. It's a lot of I didn't realize they were gonna, what are those booklets called? It's like Robert's Rules of Order, but like for a church. I forget what they're called. Ugh. My sister said it to me during the thing, but I forgot. Anyway, they were holding the book that like, and that the little that they were reading from the ceremony, and I don't know, it was really strange. And then they prayed over my brother and his wife, and then the church came by and like said hi or whatever, like visitation, except it wasn't a funeral. But anyway, it was really adorable. And then afterward, we all had food outside under a giant tent. Oh, and it was really cool because the tent was so big, it reminded me of the tent that was used at Bill and Fleur's wedding. And so, yeah, it was really cool. Sunday afternoon, my sister and I went for a walk. We took the baby for a walk. We went across the street to the railroad tracks, walked down the railroad tracks to a bridge, crossed the bridge, and then walked around down underneath it. And down underneath the bridge had like the best acoustics for singing and stuff. So um, I had the baby on me in a wrap, and we sang, and the baby slept, and it was amazing. Really cool experience. And then later that evening, I think mom kept the baby, and then Melissa and I went back and went swimming, which was really awesome. I technically didn't go swimming because I'm like really cold all the time in water, and so I didn't go all the way in. But I think she might have, but I don't remember. And I wasn't watching her when she did because I didn't think she did, but apparently she did, so whatever. And then on Monday, my aunt took me and Rebecca shopping, and I got, well, we went to some place called Ollie's, which I was not impressed with at all. I didn't like the shop. Then we went to a Walmart where I found two, actually I have them right here, where they had these cardigans. You can't even see it because I'm so close to the camera, but they have little pockets, and it's just an open cardigan. This one, I guess, is like, it's like orangey brown. Then I got a gray one. I should have got the black one as well, but I figured I already had a button-up cardigan, but it didn't have pockets, and it was short line, and these are long line. So I don't know, maybe I should have, but I don't think our Walmarts carry them because we're still in the dead of summer, so love that for us. It wasn't very hot in Pennsylvania. It was a little bit humid, but the thing that made it hot to be outside was like if we had the baby in the wrap, then it was hot. Like otherwise, it was fine. So anyway, I got those two cardigans at Walmart. And then, was that all I got at Walmart? I don't remember. We went to Goodwill as our other store, and I got a green, like, I don't know if it's cashmere or like Chanel or whatever, sweater, which is really nice. The sleeves are really tight on it, so I'm still not sure what to think about it. I thought it was in here, but I guess it's not. It might be in the Dirty Clothes basket. Also, I bought a really cool blue plaid summer dress, which I then put on as soon as we got home and wore the rest of the day. And I got a few CDs which I actually didn't check to see if there were like if the CDs were actually in here, but I got Reliant K, The Bird, and the B-side, Bryan Adams 11. This is the guy from the first animated Spirit soundtrack. Love that. I love his voice. Shawn Mendes Illuminate. Shawn Mendes Handwritten Revisited. And Demi Lovato Tell Me You Love Me. I didn't even check these to make sure the CDs are in here. Oop. Yeah, they're all in here. Oh, that's nice. It's great to get what you actually pay for. Or it's great to actually get what you pay for. So Monday when I got back to my brother's house, Melissa was asleep, and so I had to go and start packing her stuff in the suitcases so that we could go to the airport. Because my sister had gone with mom and gotten donor milk and stuff on the way back east, and the lady had also given them like clothes and a bouncer and a play mat, I think it was, and so they wanted me to repack the suitcases so that she could fly back with it, because of course we didn't plan on having a bunch of extra luggage. So anyway, with my sister dead asleep, I went in the room and started packing everything, and then mom came in and told me that we had to leave early because we needed to go pick up more donor milk for the baby before we were going to drive however many hours to our hotel in Pittsburgh, because we were going to stay right near the airport, so that because my sister and I had a 7:40 a.m. flight. It was not fun. I started packing, and then I realized that I did not have enough time to pack properly. I did not know how to pack properly because I couldn't ask her any questions because she was asleep. And it was just insane. So I threw everything into like suitcases and bags and whatever, and there was stuff all over. Nobody knew where anything was in her stuff except me. And of course, lucky me, I didn't know that she was going to need the bottle warmer in the car on the road, so I put it in one of the suitcases. Couldn't even remember which one. And then, of course, when we were leaving, my other sister forgot something, so my brother met us at a fire station, which we couldn't find because, I don't know. Anyway, driving back there's a nightmare for us because we're used to a grid system with like straight roads and stuff, and they just have a bunch of like crisscrossing highways. And also I guess the 8 that we were supposed to follow had like a detour or whatever, and so it was just a nightmare. But anyway, we made it to get the milk, and then when we got to the hotel, it was a nice hotel, but the steps were very uneven, so I was worried about mom getting up and down it. It was a nightmare. I told her not to go down the stairs anymore, and she still did, because Rebecca was getting sick at the time, so she went straight upstairs and went to bed and didn't help. And then Lissa didn't help unload the car, and I was trying to help mom and dad, and we were supposed to be thawing out milk and preparing the bottles for the road preparing them for like the airport the next day, and oh my goodness, it was a disaster. So I ended up falling asleep on one of the beds. So we had a suite with 3 queen beds. And one of them was in a private room, so mom and dad had the private room, and then us girls were out with the baby. But I fell asleep on one of the beds on top of the blankets with the baby. And I somehow woke up in the middle of the night and realized that the baby wasn't there. And then I looked around, and my sister had the baby in the rocking chair. And somehow in the middle of the night, I ended up under the blankets, and I don't even know how, because I was literally upside down in the bed. It was very strange. But when I realized she had the baby, I was like, oh, whatever. And then I went back to sleep. We had to wake up at like 4 o'clock in the morning to get ready and leave. We left my sister not Melissa. We left Rebecca at the hotel so that she could check out in the morning because she had to drive back to Ohio. So we decided that since she was sick, she needed her sleep. So then, Melissa and I. Oh, yeah, and I did have to repack that morning too. Melissa and I got dropped off at the airport. Dad went in with us to help. And oh my goodness, I knew that the big suitcase was going to be overweight. It was such. The one thing that stresses me out about airports is if there's like a suitcase that's really close to being overweight, or if it is overweight and you know it. And yeah, that was my problem. So because they'd given us so much frozen milk for the baby, that suitcase weighed 68 pounds. So they charged us $75, which Dad thankfully paid because I thought I was going to have to pay it. They charged us $75 for it, which is a normal the Southwest fee for overweight baggage. And then they took that suitcase and what is it called? Oh, the car seat. So we checked those two. And then I had my carry-on suitcase that I brought with my clothes in it, and then my sister also had a smaller suitcase that we were able to take as a carry-on. The problem with us not being able to like check, the problem that we had was that my ticket went all the way through to Phoenix, so I couldn't check anything. I couldn't check any bags from my sister because her flight obviously only went through to Portland. So if I would check any of her bags, they would come to Phoenix, and we didn't want that. So what we ended up doing was the overweight suitcase just had to be overweight because there was so much frozen milk in there. There was no way we could disperse it, and I was not like, there was no way we could take it anywhere else. And the bouncer parts and the playmat parts would not fit in any other suitcase. So they had to go in there. The one of the carry-ons was full of baby clothes, and the other carry-on was pretty much miscellaneous stuff, I think. But I had to pull one of them. My sister had to pull one of them. I had my backpack, and then I didn't even bring my own clothes home. I actually packed. So when we went to Walmart, we bought a box of diapers. I actually packed all the stuff from my suitcase into that box and shipped it home with Mom. I could have checked it. There's no way I wanted to pick up a box of Huggies in the Sky Harbor International Airport baggage claim and carry it out to my car. Like, no. So my sister had the baby, the diaper bag, and a carry-on, and I had my backpack and my carry-on. And we went through security okay, it was fine. They tested all the bottles, and it was pretty normal. And then I think I got her food after security, And then we had a lot, I had a lot of connections to make. But we first flew from Pittsburgh to Midway. Not bad, pretty easy. My nephew's a really, really good, he's just a really good baby to travel with. He's 3 months old. So he, so we flew from Pittsburgh to Midway, and then I don't remember how long that flight was, but then we flew from Midway to San Jose, California, which was a 4 hour flight. And I, it was quite an experience. My sister was exhausted because she'd been up in the night, I guess, because the baby had cried and whatever. So, anyway, she went to sleep against the window, and I took care of the baby for the whole flight. And I actually fell asleep holding the baby on the plane, so that was very strange. And I realized that if you're rocking a baby on a plane, you don't feel the turbulence or anything as much. So, anyway, when we landed in San Jose, we weren't switching planes there. We did switch in Midway, but we weren't going to switch in San Jose. So we stayed on the plane, and I was really tired, really hungry, and really cold because for 4 hours the AC had been blowing and I hadn't been able to get up and turn it off. I hadn't been able to have my sister turn it off, and I had not been able to have a blanket because she had my blanket. Just struggles. So, anyway, in San Jose, I asked, oh, the baby was upset because I think I don't remember if it was he was hungry, wanted to I don't remember if he was hungry or if he just wanted like a comfort feed so he could go to sleep. But like all the milk we had was ice cold. So, I asked one of the stewards, I combined some bottles, so I had two full bottles of milk because we started out with five, and so I had to combine some because we kept having to switch whenever the milk would get cold. We would have to give, yeah, it was insane. I asked him if he would warm it up, and thankfully he did. He took the bottles to the back of the plane and put them in hot water. And by the time we took off from San Jose, we had warm milk for the baby, which was awesome because then he was much more okay. Because I think it was when we were descending into San Jose, he would not take a bottle. He was very unhappy, and I think his ears were bothering him because he wasn't able to like equalize everything. So anyway, the flight from San Jose to Portland was only an hour and a half. When they announced that, my sister and I just looked at each other and we were like, because basically an hour and a half flight is a 30-minute ascent, 30 minutes flying, and a 30-minute descent. So it's literally nothing. Like an hour and a half flight is nothing. And she was so happy to go home because I think we were both introverted out. It was quite a situation. Anyway, she took care of the baby pretty much the whole flight from San Jose to Portland, and I went to sleep basically on and off. I think I woke up when we were descending, or like actively became aware when we were descending. But when we landed, we got off the plane as fast as we could. Portland. There was quite a walk to the baggage claim, but it wasn't too bad. And I thought her husband was gonna meet us at the baggage claim, but he actually waited at Burger King, so we didn't drive around the airport. But it did turn out that it wasn't as difficult to get the suitcase off of the carousel as I thought it was going to be, so that was okay. And then we were able to get all of the luggage outside and get word to him where we were. I helped him load the car for them because I waited for them because I had a 3 hour layover in Portland. So um, I left the airport and helped her and find him and whatever. And then I saw them off and then went back inside, went back through security. I got food actually for like the first time that day, which was like, I don't even know, 5 o'clock our time? Like here. Oh, what time is that over there? 8 o'clock. So it's 8 o'clock Pittsburgh time. I went 12 hours. 12 hours of travel? No. I don't even know. Our flight was supposed to leave at I went with. Anyway, I did not have food for a long time, so I was very hungry. But also at that point, I was starting to get sick. On the flight from San Jose to Portland, I actually, like, I did not feel very good. And then I had a sore throat when I was in Portland. And then once I got to my gate, I sat down and I ate. And then I set my alarm on my phone and I went to sleep. I went to sleep with like 3 people at my gate and I woke up with like a gate full of people. But the fun thing was, my flight to Phoenix wasn't full. I got an entire row to myself. So after my 3 hour layover, I got on the plane, and after we had ascended and we were at a certain altitude, and I was able to turn off. I think I actually, once we got to 10,000 feet, I lay down and went to sleep even before the seatbelt light went off. But I don't know. I don't remember. Then I do remember when I was asleep, I had my feet hanging out in the aisle, and somebody bumped my feet, and so I was lying down on my back on the seat. I just crossed my legs and kept sleeping. It was funny. But anyway, I woke up when we were descending because my ears were popping really bad. I was so glad to get into Arizona. I was so happy. Anyway, I raced off the plane, yeah, because I only had my backpack at that point. I didn't have to carry anything else. So I had my purse in my backpack, so I separated them. I think I separated them when I went onto the Phoenix flight. I separated them because I didn't have the suitcase carry-on anymore. Because I sent my carry-on with my sister so that she could have like as much of her stuff as she could. So yeah, technically she has my suitcase right now, but whatever. Anyway, got off the plane. Didn't have to go to the baggage claim because I didn't have any checked luggage. I caught the SkyTram out to the East Economy parking lot. Picked up my vehicle because Dad and I had taken my vehicle to the airport. It still had low tire lights on for both front tires, but it was fine. I called Mom. Actually, I called Mom when I got out the airplane. But anyway, I was on the phone with her basically the whole time. I drove home because I wasn't sure if I could make it home from the airport. Oh, on the way home from the airport, I went to the store and picked up orange juice and oatmeal because I knew I was coming down with a cold, and so I wanted to make sure I had some orange juice. And so I got home, said hi to the cat, and that was that pretty much. We did have one incident when we were in Midway where my sister's iPad got left on the plane, and we actually switched concourses when we changed planes. We went from B-17 to A-11. So we had already gotten to A-11 when she realized she didn't have her iPad. So I ran back to the other concourse to see if anybody had it. Nobody had it. So we think either somebody took it or somebody's blind and couldn't find it. So, whatever. But, yeah. I'm sure there were things I forgot, but it was okay. It wasn't really a vacation. It wasn't super relaxing because I really don't, even though like I I love my nephew and I enjoy taking care of him. I do not find taking care of babies relaxing. And like stressing about that and stressing about whether like my sister's okay and whatever. It's not it's not the best vacation in the world. It's not vacation. I came home and felt like I didn't actually go on vacation. So maybe going on a different vacation in the future here. But that's what we did. It was a wild ride. It was a very interesting experience, and I proved to myself that if I can put up with a lot more baby fussing than I think I can or want to. I can do what I have to when I have to. So, yeah. Anyway, if you've stayed and watched this long, I hope you've enjoyed my rant about Pennsylvania. It's probably it's probably nothing like any other kind of traveling vlog or retelling or whatever. But anyway, thank you for watching. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed.